Sorry, just a real quick disclaimer before the rest of the video, because I've looked back at everything that I've said and realised how negative I sound. And I love the Dragon Rally. I enjoy it every year, even though it's really awful. And I meet some really cool people and I see some really cool things, and it's an amazing thing to do. Right now I'm sat in my room getting ready for it, and I can hear the wind outside and it's horrendous, and that's affecting my current feelings towards the event that is upcoming. So everything is said in satire, but not really. Please don't judge me for how I'm feeling now, because I'm sure once I get back from this event, I'll be really happy and I'll be like, oh my God, it was amazing. It's such an experience and I loved every second of it. And then 6 months later, I'll be like, why did I do that? Like right now. So yeah, sorry in advance if this offends you, but also maybe it's useful. Enjoy. Hello YouTube, how is everybody? I hope you're all having a lovely week. I said that I would film a packing video for the Dragon Rally, which is this weekend, so here it is. I've left it until the last minute because I do not want to do it. I don't want to go. It's going to be terrible. Every year I do this, every year I know that it's going to suck, and it sucks, and then I do it again, and I don't want to do it this time. I've kind of noticed the pattern, and I've seen the forecast, and it's bad. It's really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. So for those of you that don't know, the Dragon Rally is one weekend every year in Wales in February, and you sign up to it. They give you an email, they tell you where to go to a checkpoint, and then you go to the checkpoint and then they tell you where you're going to camp that night. So it's always in February. It's always kind of like the middle of February, with the idea being that it's statistically going to have the worst weather for the whole year, and then they do it in Snowdonia because the weather's always worse in Wales than it is everywhere else in the country, and it's supposed to be like a stripped back approach to hardcore motorcycling and camping. And I've done it 3 years now. This will be my 4th year, and the first year I did it was 2020, and I didn't really know what to expect from it. I had a cheap tent, I had cheap camping kit, I had an R1 that didn't really work properly, and my tent got flattened because it was in a really bad storm. I had to sleep in my friend's tent, but then his tent also got flattened, so we had to throw all of our kit out into the pissing rain. Sorry for swearing within the first 60 seconds. I had to throw all of my dry sleeping kit into the rain to get it out of the tent so that I could then sleep in the marquee that they'd provided, which had like the bar and the live band. So effectively what I was sleeping in was spilled beer and probably piss and mud while a storm was raging. And then I had to ride home the following day on my R1, which didn't want to do it. It did do it, but it took the whole day to get down like 300 miles of motorway home from Wales, because the motorway was the only road that wasn't closed due to landslide, and it was the worst thing ever. It was absolutely awful. And then I decided to do it the following year that it was on, which was 2022, because of COVID, so they skipped a year. And then in 2022 there was another storm, and I was slightly better prepared for that one. It wasn't too bad. I did get wet, all my stuff did get wet, but it wasn't so bad that there was landslides, and it wasn't in a named storm. And my brother saw that video and he was like, you're bad at this. So this year my brother's coming and my dad's coming, so that hopefully they have an awful time as well, and then I can be like, ha. Yeah, I got a phone call from my brother last week, and he was in Go Outdoors, and he was like, do you need anything? I was like, you can absolutely. No, you need things. He didn't have anything. So he's coming around for dinner tonight, and I'm going to find out what he's bought. Apparently he's got the same stuff that I've got. Anyway, that's very exciting. So that's what the Dragon Rally is. And last year, if you saw the video from last year, it actually wasn't too bad. It wasn't windy, it wasn't cold, and it wasn't wet. It was just a nice February, and a lot of people turned up. I think they actually sold all the tickets and everyone did go. And it was a very pleasant weekend. So I'm leaving here this Friday, so it's Tuesday at the moment, and the forecast isn't good. It's not good. So I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to be filming this. I don't want to be packing my bike up. I don't want to go. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, because apart from last year, which was strange, it's not fun. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I am, because I said I would do it. I told everyone I was going, so I can't even back out of it. So because of my general lack of enthusiasm for this year, I am kind of going to half-ass the whole camping experience, because at the Dragon Rally there's normally a burger van. This year apparently there is not only a burger van but there is a pizza van, and fantastic. I'm not going to take food, I'm not going to take cooking kit, I'm not going to take a gas bottle or any of that, because if there's a pizza van I'm fine. I don't need those things. Normally I take chili and I take all of my cooking kit, but this year I can't be bothered, so that solves that, which means I need minimal luggage. So the RR already has its panniers on, and then I will probably just take this one, which is the Krieger US 30 bag, so that kind of goes on the top that way, and it's completely waterproof and it fits the vast majority of my camping stuff in it. Normally I would have two little side bags attached to it, and then they would kind of sit on top of the panniers, so you've got like a nice little thing going on, but I'm not going to bother this time because I don't need the extra space. This is my new tent. I have shown you this tent a few times before. This is the OEX Fox 2 version 2, so it's a 2-man tent, but it's really little, so it's the perfect size for one man and their stuff. And this is my other tent, which you've also seen before. This is the V1, that way up. So it's, try and show you, it's a little bit smaller, so if space is like a big deal, then this is a good one. But the problem with this one is it is so small that if it is raining and you've got stuff in it and it touches the edges, everything gets wet inside it. Whereas at least with this one, there's enough room that you can kind of put all your stuff inside it and it doesn't touch the edge. And it really isn't a whole lot of difference in size with the packing. Like if you are desperate for space, that's a good one. This is the perfect kind of compromise. And they're on offer in, I think, millets at the moment. They're like £100, so do not spend £300 on this tent. You can get it a lot cheaper. And it's easy to put up. It's easy to put away. It's very good. It's obviously waterproof. It's kind of warm as well. Like it's a little bit sweaty, which is good for this sort of thing. So that's my tent, and it fits long ways in here. So I'm happy with that. It's my third tent because I can't stop buying tents. I do have another one that's much bigger, but I can't show you because I've left it somewhere and I don't know where I left it. This is my sleeping mat. It's a Flux 2 by OEX. As you can see, it packs up very, very tiny, and it just blows up, sort of. That's not it, that's something else. I will get this out and show you. So I think this was like 50 quid from Go Outdoors, and yeah, it's very flat, and it's very small, and it's full of like little air pockets, and you can either blow it up with like a compressor or something, or it's got this bag thingy that you can like wave around and fill with air and then squeeze it into the thing, which takes ages. I just blow it up with my mouth, so obviously now it's full of moisture, so it's probably not going to last very long, but for 50 quid that's okay, and it is comfortable, and it doesn't take long to pack it down. It's very small. And then I have two sleeping bags. I have this one, which is a down-filled one, which is very nice and warm, and it folds up very small, and I have this one, which is a not down-filled stuff. This is an OEX one. It's a summer one, but what I do with this one is I put it over the down one, so it's a little bit extra warmth, and also it stops this one from getting wet, because if that gets wet it's never getting dry, whereas if this one gets wet it doesn't really matter. So that's my system. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take some blankets. Any spare room left in this dry bag, once I put my tent, sleeping mat and two sleeping bags in it, that is going to be blankets. And then I can wrap myself in them while I'm sitting around, or I can just put them over my sleeping bags, and it just makes all the difference. And blankets are great. I'm sure there's better ways of doing this than having blankets. Like I take the big fluffy kind of like throw blankets. You can probably get fancy camping blankets, but I have so many throw blankets, so I'm just going to take those. I've got my little torch, and to be honest, I think that's it. I normally use my kit as a pillow, so I'll just kind of like fold my jacket and my pants up, and I'll just use that as a pillow, so I don't have to carry a pillow around, because the blow up ones aren't particularly great. That's kind of it. It's 2 nights, so the actual event is only 1 night, and then I will ride up to Wales with my group on Friday, and I'll stay in a hostel on Friday. I'm not taking toiletries, I'm just gonna smell, because That means I don't need to pack as many things. I don't need to pack like a change of clothes or whatever. It's only 2 days. I am not going to meet anyone. It's fine if I stink. Makes life a little bit easier. Also, hostels are cold, camping is cold. I don't want to get out of a shower into a cold place and have to dry off with a camping, like, unless I absolutely have to, you know, so never mind. And if you do see me, just stay away. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention I've got a tarpaulin, which I always take camping with me, because the bottom of tents is made out of really flimsy rubbish material, which I don't trust. So if you put a tarpaulin down first and then you put a tent over the top of the tarpaulin, it just puts an extra barrier between you and the wet floor. And also, if it isn't raining, it's nice to sit on the tarpaulin outside your tent, because these don't have like porchways like some tents do. So that's handy. It's just a handy thing to carry around, and I just kind of like bungee that to just above my number plate. I talk about these every time. These are pee bowls. Basically what they are is they're like little plastic bags full of silica bead things, and you pee in them instead of getting out of your tent. And when you're a girl and you want to get out of your tent to go pee in the night, it's just annoying. It's always a long way, and if it's raining you get wet, and then you're wet when you have to go back in your tent, and it's just a massive inconvenience. And there's nothing worse than waking up in the middle of the night in a tent in a storm needing to go for a wee. So these, you just kind of, yeah, they peel open and then they make that sort of shape, and then you just squat over them, and it's very undignified, but it's fine because no one will see you do it. And you pee in them, and in the morning you seal them up, and then you just throw them in the bin. They are lifesavers. So when you go to the Dragon Rally, the first thing you do, particularly as a woman, because the men obviously don't care, is you scrape out the toilet situation before you start drinking. And then if the toilets look like they're going to be skanky and you don't want to use them, you just don't drink anything until you've left. Don't drink anything until you're back on the road. I don't mean alcohol, I mean like water. You want to just make yourself as dry as possible. You don't want to have to go to the toilet, so at least if you have these, it's not a big problem. Just taking some plastic carrier bags so that if my stuff does get wet, I can put it in the carrier bags and then put the carrier bags in the tent, so that I don't get the inside of my tent wet. But also because carrier bags are just useful for absolutely everything. I have these little things. I don't know if they're going to come in useful, but I'm going to take them anywhere. They're like weird little sealable, I suppose I could put my phone in them, I don't know. Plastic things, waterproofing, very important. Just got my blanket, just going to shove that in there. And then that is that bag packed. It's a bit full, but that's fine. Right to the back. Yeah. Perfect. Easy. Okay. So it's not so much the camping that I'm worried about. The camping's probably going to be fine. What actually scares me is that I've got to do 300 miles each way in this weather front that's coming in. Apparently we've got yellow snow warnings, but I don't believe that. I do believe it's going to suck though. So I will tell you about the kit that I am going to be wearing and any other clothes that I'm going to take with me, assuming that it's going to be raining the whole way and cold and windy and maybe icy. Not much I can do about icy, but I can do things about it being cold and wet. So the key to staying warm is, first and foremost, trying to stay as dry as possible. If you can stay dry, that's great. If you get cold, it's just kind of tough, but if you get wet, you'll also get cold, and then you'll be both, which is 2 times as bad. So for your motorcycle kit, if you can get Gore-Tex, get Gore-Tex. Obviously I have my Klim Artemis suit behind me, which is super reliable and I love it. It got me all the way up and down to Nordkap and back, and it rained every day and I didn't get wet, so that's perfect. If you can't get Gore-Tex and you don't trust your waterproofs, there's no shame in getting one of those ugly ass kind of yellow rubber suit things and just putting that over the top. It'll do it, it'll work. You've just got to stay dry. I have this rain jacket, which kind of comes everywhere with me as a backup, so that if I feel like my kit is leaking, I can put it underneath my kit just as another barrier. I haven't needed to use it as a barrier with the Klim suit, but also if I want to take my Klim stuff off and walk around, I can put this on and then I don't get wet. It's also got a hood, because the ones I can't find it, there is a hood. If your hair gets wet, your hair will not dry out, and then the back of you will get wet and then it will just go everywhere. So that's another good thing to take, something with a hood, just so that when you're walking around in the evening, you can just protect your hair, protect your head, keep as dry as possible. You can get waterproof socks. These are sealskins. They feel horrible. They will keep your feet dry if you can't get waterproof or Gore-Tex footwear. The other thing you can do is you can just get plastic bags and put your feet in plastic bags and then put that in your boots. I think a guy got hypothermia like 2 years ago on the Dragon Rally, and apparently like his feet was one of the main problems. Like his feet got wet and that was just kind of the end of him. So obviously it was fine, but it wasn't good while it was going on. So sealskins or a plastic bag. There's a lot of cheap ways that you can stay dry, and it normally starts with plastic bags. And also for your hands, petrol station gloves. Just fill your pockets with those every time you stop, and then put them on under your gloves. It's like a nice windproof, waterproof barrier. Makes a huge difference actually. So if you've got heated grips, fantastic. If you've got heated gloves, fantastic. If you haven't, I think I showed you guys muffs in one of my videos. You can get like bar end muffs that go over your handlebars, and they will help keep you dry and warm. If you can't get those, I saw a guy use Amazon packaging once as muffs. It looks stupid, but I bet it worked. So those with your gloves, with petrol station gloves. It's cheap, it's easy, it works. So my base layers are currently on my drying rack because I washed them yesterday getting ready for this. So I can't show you, but I have the Zero Fit Heat Rub Ultimate or Ultra base layers, which are, they're just long sleeve clothing, and they're kind of fluffy on the inside, and the fibers from the fluff rub against your skin, generating heat or something. So they work really, really well. But also what you can get is anything you can find that's lined with this stuff. So there's just a pair of socks that I've got. And you can see they're just kind of like a little bit fuzzy on the inside. That makes a huge difference. So if you can get like leggings, tops, socks, anything that's lined with that, and use that as your base layer. Then you put your heated kit on if you've got heated kit. If you haven't got heated kit, again, fluffy clothing, amazing. I know there's like loads of really technical stuff that you can wear instead, but if you can just get like fluffy clothing, it works really, really well. And it squashes down. It's just like, it's great. So again, mine's on the dryer, so this stuff looks horrendous, works really, really well. So my plan is to take a couple of these, put them in my panniers, not wear them on the bike because I have got heated clothing, but when I get off the bike and I don't have the batteries, you just put these on and you're like a little teddy bear, and it's great. And this is another one, it kind of depends on what the weather's doing. If you think that your tent might collapse in the night and you might need to make a quick exit, don't do this. But if you're confident, take pyjamas and wear them when you go to bed. Take all of your kit off and put pyjamas on before you get in your sleeping bag. Don't try and sleep in your kit. You will stay cold if you're already cold. Cold kit stays cold because it keeps the temperature in. If you're already cold and your white kit is cold, you get in your sleeping bag, you'd just be cold. Whereas if you get changed, you'd be nice and toasty. It's weird, it works. I'm trying to think of anything else. Phone chargers, power banks. It's a campsite. More often than not, it's not even a campsite, it's just a field in the middle of nowhere, so there's not going to be electricity. There probably isn't even going to be phone signal, so... what else? Oh yeah, if you're going, you need to print your ticket. Even though they don't ask to see it, but they tell you in the instructions that you have to take a printed copy, so make sure you do print that out before you go. And also you have to take cash because some things only accept cash. They did say that the bar accepts card though, which gives me a little bit of hope, because if it accepts card, that means there's phone signal, which is all I ask for really in any situation, is phone signal. So I'm feeling positive about that, but yeah, you've got to take cash. I reckon 40 quid will probably do it. Like, a pizza's not going to cost more than 40 quid. Anything else in my little box of wonders that I might need to take with me? I should probably take like a bowl or something. Like, I said I was going to get a pizza, but my dad was like, I'm going to take pot noodles, and Lane's taking like beef stew or something. So I'll take a bowl so I can have some of that, because that's probably going to be nice. You won't need to take a bike lock, because chances are the thieves are going to be curled up nice and toasty warm in their homes, so you don't need to worry about that. I I think that's it, to be honest. Yeah, you can tell I'm really, really excited about this one. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will probably see you guys there if you are going, if you are bailing. I'm not mad, and to be honest, I'm not disappointed either. I kind of get it. I was going with a fairly sizable group and 2 people have already bailed on it. One guy just stopped getting good vibes about it and decided he didn't want to go anymore. And then one of them's got food poisoning this weekend, and apparently that means that they don't want to go next weekend, even though food poisoning is normally only a 24-hour thing. But I get it. I totally get it. So this year it's going to be me and Lane, as it always is, my friend Mike, it's his first Dragon Rally, and then my dad and my brother. And that's a decent group. We're going to have a fire pit apparently, so if you can't find me, it's because I'm in the fire pit trying to burn myself so that I can go to hospital, which will be warmer than camping and have phone signal. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, hope it's somewhat helpful, and if you go, hope you have time, and I'll catch up with you soon. Goodbye.